Grand Raw Rising, kings and queens. Grab your coffee or your tea and enjoy some sacred healing space for all ages and reflections that are welcomed. No matter if you're at work, watching the kiddos at home, or even driving on the road, Rising with Raw is a beautiful sacred space to learn about the chakras as well as receive our collective card reading for the day. Along with this, we will have beautiful guests and members of the tribe come on to share their gifts, their practices, knowledge, and wisdom as we self-empower.
Walking like an Egyptian. Walking like an Egyptian.
The great mother wisdom. Some patterns. We continue those patterns and habits rather than access that wisdom inside of us from the information and the energy that we've experienced through our experiences. To cycle and manifest into different forms into our life. Now, of course, there's many different factors and many different degrees that come into this per person and per experience and per moment. Nothing is black and white. So when I'm explaining all this, remember, this isn't about black and white. This is about baseline. This is about fundamentals. And then our everyday living life fills in the rest of it, fills in that foundation and baseline of the knowledge of self. So of course, we all have different experiences, we all have different vibrations, we all have different blueprints that then brings us into different perspectives. We're in portal to the Akashic Records realm, which is basically like an etheric library of Grand Rising, Grand Day, and welcome. Welcome to Rising with Ra. May you get settled in. May you allow yourself to get cozy and comfortable. Grab your tea. Grab your water. Grab your crystals. Grab your sage. Whatever it is that you would like today to help you feel connected. Dive into your spirituality and to move through your layers. As today here in Rising with Ra, we will be continuing on our journey through the chakras as we will travel into our stellar gateway chakra, one of the final of the 12 chakras that we are covering. Along with this, we will also be doing our collective oracle card reading for the day. And then to wrap up, we will be doing a stellar gateway chakra reiki activation and clearing, which you guys will be able to sit in a demonstration and receive through me. So that is what is to come up in this episode of Rising with Ra as we explore our collective reading for today. We go over our chakra of the day, which is going to be the stellar gateway. Now we will be doing a stellar gateway reiki crystal clearing and activation. How are we all today? Feel free to use this moment as a check-in and self-reflection space. Kind of take a moment and sit with ourselves and really kind of just see where we're at in this moment. You know, where are we mentally? Where are we emotionally? And where are we at physically? And if there's anything that you can identify that is potentially leaving you in, pain, struggle, turmoil, or anything else of that nature, feel free to either grab your journal and journal that out today, or continue to reflect upon it inside your mind and bring it forward. Bring it forward today with your intentions and your energy to maybe bring clearing, healing, and integration with that lesson. All right. So as we so do, we will kick off our Rising with Ra episode with our oracle card reading. And this time is going to be from the Book of Doors, Divination deck. And this is a alchemical oracle deck from ancient Egypt. And what I really like about this deck is it goes by the original Egyptian names. So all the guides in here, or all the archetypes, they have their original names. As in, for example, Horus. The Greek name is Horus. The original Kemetic name is Heru. H-E-R-U. Heru. Interesting. So our collective card is Amsu. This is really interesting. It's a masculine figure with an erection, actually. So symbolically, I wonder what this is representing. Shall we read in the book? Something of masculine origin, perhaps also something of being maybe being ready to create. Let's see what the meaning is. Amsu. Yeah, okay, that's what I was thinking. So Amsu represents procreator, procreation, also known as the Lord of Eternity. Amsu brings what is hidden into the open through his regenerative power. He is always shown in this form. So Amsu wears two characteristic plumes in a streamer which hangs like a tail down his back. This tail means rejuvenation. In its festival of Amsu, a new tail was given to the pharaoh for the renewal of his powers and for the rejuvenation of the land. So this is also connected with Jupiter, and Jupiter is regarded as teacher, imparting or seeding the mind of the disciple with knowledge. Jupiter is the only planet that gives out more energy than it receives from the sun. So the divinatory meaning from this oracle is sexual pleasure, rejuvenation, and initiation. So what I receive from this, and here's the image again, and then there's the tail in the back that they were talking about, right there, the tail. So basically what I'm picking up from this is that, whoever is resonating with this reading right now, is that we're kind of in this phase or period today where we've kind of been clearing out and cleansing a lot of shadows and a lot of attachments and a lot of cords of energy. And along with this, identifying patterns as well as other things that needed to be cleared and recalibrated. And with that being said, that cleared up an opened way for new birthing energy to then be put into us, to be put into our being. And when I say that, I mean in the way of the cosmos or the divine or the universe being able to now, in a way, symbolically impregnate us with new ideas, with new birthing, new different blueprints, and new things to construct through these vessels into this world. So, it's a mature thing. It really takes maturity to be able to have readings like this and not just be sexual about it or turn it into adultery, but to really look at sexuality and look at these symbolic meanings in its true organic form. There is a very mature spiritual level of teaching that we can obtain through these type of things. And yeah, so with that being said, it sounds like for some of us, we are prime and ready to really step forward in our new ideas, step forward with the seeds that we are now planting or have been planting. And just remembering that along with that stepping forward and continuing to cultivate the seeds is the masculine and feminine balance. Remembering that femininity of watering and nurturing and being patient with your seeds as they grow. Just remember that as we continue on in this process, especially as we continue to change and we really begin to put forward more of these ideas and blueprints that we want to be a part of, just keep in mind that patience is required. Patience is required because this is not an overnight thing. If you're trying to obtain or you're trying to become or you're trying to do something that's on a very large level, that's going to affect many people around the world, and that is going to be a part of many different people's lives for not just this time period, but for generations to come. You got to keep in mind, like, you're working on an imprint, you're working on a manifestation that requires a lot of programming, a lot of codes, a lot of downloads, a lot of sustainability, and a lot of nurturing in order for that to truly blossom into fruition. So keep in mind of that as you go along in your journey of manifesting. Remember the patience that comes with it because, if you're building something that's going to last a long time or something that's going to be impactful for a while, then it's going to take a little bit of time. It's going to take a little bit of effort and process in order for that to really become what you want it to be, due to the nature of the longevity of it, sustainability. We want to make sure that it is able to be what we are putting our intentions in it to be, rather than rushing things. When we rush things, we don't really give the opportunity for that product or that idea or whatever it may be to fully be able to blossom and to be able to turn into what it is truly meant to turn into, because we're tampering with it, because we keep hindering the growth process, because we keep creating resistance, and all these different things that just backtrack it more and more from its consistency and its sustainability of being able to be what it's meant to be. Now I'm going to touch a little bit on sexuality here. Sexuality in this context. For everybody out there, why do you think it may be important to have boundaries or to have sacred accountability of your sexual energy? Feel free to drop it in the comments, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. I'd love to see what you guys would think. What reasons do you guys think it would be wise and mature to have boundaries and sacred honor surrounding your sexual energy? I'll give you guys a moment. Wholeness, goddess. So my question I just dropped for everybody, if anybody else would like to answer it. Why do you think it would be mature and responsible to have boundaries or to be responsible and accountable for your sexual energy? It's my question for everybody out there. Feel free to drop it in the comments why you think it would be important to have boundaries and self-honor when it comes to your sexual energy. For everybody out there, the card that led us to this conversation is Amsu from the Egyptian Oracle. And it's about erecting energy as well as birthing and seeding. And right now, what we're talking about is why we feel like it could be important to have boundaries and to have honor surrounding our sexual energy. And for anybody that is interested in the rest of the reading, you guys can watch the replay as the reading will be available there. Spiritual hygiene, self-respect, absolutely. So I'll give you guys my view on why I feel boundaries and honor surrounding our sexuality is pretty important. Well, number one, our sexual energy, our sexual life force energy is also our vitality. It is also basically our physical human energy. So if we are just leaking, freely giving, and just pouring out our sexual vitality and life force energy that we only get so much of during the day as a physical human being, then we're susceptible to draining our energy. Not only are we draining energy, but we're also draining our creative energy. Our sexual life force energy is also our creative energy. Another reason is because we can create attachments, and those attachments can be utilized by vampiric energies. We can also attract entities into our space. And we can also put ourselves in positions of being used. Other things is that through our sexuality, our life force energy, this is how we activate the rest of our chakras. And this is a big part in the chemicals in our body, how active and how functioning our organs are throughout the body. It's also helpful to our nervous system and our blood flow. And it's also going to have a factor in our ability to feel depression, anxiety, stress. All of this surrounds our sexual energy. You also call it your kundalini, your life force energy. So sometimes we may be wondering, why are we feeling so depressed? Why are we feeling so anxious? Why are we feeling so drained all the time? Well, one thing that you could potentially look at is, where am I giving my vital energy? Where am I concentrating and focusing my sexual life force energy? Am I just freely and impulsively giving it away unconsciously all the time? Am I continuing to give away in the patterns that I keep on seeing and keep on reminding myself that I don't want to do anymore? Just be honest with yourself and have grace and compassion, but also, know what you know and put a foot down on yourself if you need to. And it's very easy to bypass in this life, to bypass with knowledge or bypass with spirituality. But you also have to remember that, if you want to be what you want to be, there's certain things that you want to be a part of and you want to experience, and you want to experience it in certain ways, then there's required actions and accountability as an individual being. So keep in mind of that. And then remember too, in the beginning of the reading, how we were speaking on how some of us may be ready. Maybe you're ready to step forward into some new ideas, some new spaces, and some new energies. As we plant these seeds, or you have been planting seeds, just remember to nurture them, remember to cultivate them. And as I said in the beginning of the reading, remember that it requires patience for some of these things, especially on the scale and the level of what it is that you're trying to bring into the material world. Like if you're trying to build a community that's going to last for generations, and you're trying to build establishments, and you're trying to build all these different things that are lifelong and generational passing, keep in mind, like, that's not something that just happens overnight in this material world. It's something that's got to be sustainable, reliable, efficient for people. Like, it's got to have these different qualities to it that are able to make it sustainable and make it something that can last with longevity. And sometimes that requires patience, as it could be a year process, it could be a few year process, it could be half of your life process to truly manifest some of these things that we have ideas for. And what I see is some of us may not have the patience for the level and degree of what it is that we want. So then we kind of sabotage ourselves, or we cut ourselves short because we want instant gratification, or we want something of a high magnitude that's going to last a long time to happen in the snap of a finger overnight. It was something I really had to sit down with and be honest with myself with was, am I jumping too far, too quickly? Remembering that I'm in a third dimensional realm and that there's third dimensional mechanics that take place as well. To really go from like working a job to 100% just all of a sudden full-blown service as everything, but not having anything put in place to really make that transition and to make sure that transition is really flowing. I had to learn, that wasn't really a very responsible thing that I did. It wasn't very patient. It wasn't very wise. So I had to gain some wisdom and learn lessons from that. And now I just really honor steps. I honor taking steps and knowing that in this third dimensional realm, things go through quite the process. And it's a little bit more of a denser or a slower process, quote unquote, compared to, the fifth dimension or the higher dimensions, where a lot of us naturally resonate and are from. So last thing is, I also invite you to remember and think about, when we plant a seed into the soil and we don't see that seed for a good while, remember that that seed it's starting to make its way through that soil and through that darkness. And yes, it cannot be seen, but it is doing it. And as time goes on, that seed begins to make its way to the surface, and then it breaks through the surface, and then you start to see the growth that it's taking place with. You start to see it blossom and bloom. So think about that with you, your ideas, your manifestations. Sometimes that idea or that seed is buried for a little bit, and then there's some layers. There's an adventure, there's a journey to move through with nurturing and proper taking care of, that then brings it to the surface and it breaks through. So that's what I got for you guys. That's our collective card reading out of the Book of Doors, Divination, Ancient Egyptian deck. And last thing too is I want to give the reminder of, find healthy outlets and find healthy places for you to exchange your vitality, your life force energy. And it doesn't have to be, in a sexual intercourse type of way. It can also be in a creative project way. It could be in community connection. It could be holding space for somebody. Find ways to utilize that seed or utilize that cultivation of your life force energy. So then it's not just building up and you're getting consumed by it, or you're being very impulsive with it, to where you're just putting it on to others, or you're just putting it on to people that are not wanting to have that type of energy put on them. I'm not sure where that came from, but apparently somebody needed to hear it. Sometimes we let it get a little out of control. All right, so now we're going to move into our chakra of the day. Our chakra of the day is going to be the Stellar Gateway Chakra. Stellar Gateway Chakra, continuing upwards from the Soul Star Chakra where we left off. Stellar Gateway is about 18 inches above the head. The traits of this chakra, it is resonant at 16,384 hertz. So as you can see, it's a way higher vibrational center or energy form compared to, say the root chakra. Colors associated with this chakra, we have gold and orange. And then the characteristics that this chakra brings to our human life. This is the main center where we can access our soul origin awareness. So this is where we can tap into the remembrance and the the codes of our soul origin, our higher self. This is also basically known as the crown chakra of our 12 chakras. So the crown, if you remember, that violet energy center at the top of the head is basically like the lid or the top of your 7 chakras. So you expand that a little bit further out into your light body. The stellar gateway acts as the lid or the top to your 12 chakra system. This is also the center where we can most directly access our Merkaba light body vehicle. And through our Merkaba light body vehicle, that is how we do intergalactic travel in light speed, quantumly. Next, this is the main energy center for accessing our higher purpose and our soul organic blueprints. And with that being said, this is also where we can go into doing basically metaphysical, geometrical mapping of our being. So instead of recalibrating from a physical level, we can recalibrate from a geometrical, sacred geometry pattern level. And when we do that, we are then arranging our whole entire being from the level of our patterns that are embedded within our whole entire system, that are embedded within our whole entire light body and within our blueprint. So then this can create a major shift, a major recalibration to every single level of our being, as in mentally, emotionally, physically, astrally, and beyond. Because instead of trying to work from the outside in, it's like we're working from the inside out, or we're working from the highest frequency and the lightest dimension instead of the lowest frequency and the densest dimension. So it's kind of like a quantum healing when we do things from the higher chakras, like the stellar gateway. So what you do there, arranging your patterns and your blueprint system, that's going to be embedded within every aspect of your human being and in your DNA. And if you're someone that likes to connect with guides or different archetypes, you can connect with Archangel Metatron, who is basically a gatekeeper or a guardian angel of that dimension. That's why Metatron is known as the master of geometry or the master of patterns. And if you remember, I've said it many times, the human being is made up of patterns, geometry, and basically repetition of those patterns. So that's what a program basically is. A program is a pattern that has been replicated. And through the repetition of that pattern, we then program into that. The more we repeat that consistently, the more we attune ourselves and become that pattern. This is basics to reprogramming. And a lot of the times, the reason why we're not achieving what we want to achieve through manifesting and through lifestyle changes is honestly simply because of not having this knowledge. not understanding the simplicity of who we are as human beings, and that it's really not that abstract and it's not that complicated to change. We're actually designed to change normally and naturally and organically. But we've been taught basically inverted ways of living that cause a lot of our own self-infliction and our own resistance to what is natural for us, which is change. So now the stellar gateway is also our galactic energy center. So it's the main center where we can interact with galactic councils as well as other galactic energies. Blocks in the stellar gateway chakra can look like experiencing disconnection from your higher self consciousness, having blockages in your connection of integrating your light body codes or your soul blueprint mapping into your aura and into your human being. Now, if we're someone that is wanting to be of service, wanting to be of devotion to our higher self and to, the Most High, you may think that this could be something to focus on, the stellar gateway. Because if you can see here, blockages in this chakra can result into experiences of feeling disconnection from our higher self, having blockages in the integration process of our higher body light codes into our physical human aura. So, if we're wanting to devote ourselves to service and we're wanting to be fully in our higher purpose, it may be pretty clever to bring focus to the stellar gateway and to tap in and see if it is calibrated, if it is attuned and is clear for these attributes and connections to be made. And the more that this is clear, the more that this is flowing, the more we have natural and organic guidance, as well as natural and organic direction of our purpose and what to do to really be in that purpose. And if we're also not able to integrate our light body very much into our physical body, it can be quite difficult for us to be able to see beyond the veil, see beyond our human label that we have been labeled as for our whole life, and to see through our own egoic thoughts. So that is our chakra for today, the stellar gateway. Grand Monday, Sarah. Good to see you. All right. So as you guys can see, as we continue on with these chakras, the more lighter they are, the more higher vibrational, the more of a higher dimension they are, there's going to be less to them. There's not going to be as much correlation to the physical life with these chakras due to the frequency and the placement of them. So like, for example, the 7 chakras, you can correlate foods and herbs to them because they relate to the physical body. But with the stellar gateway, the soul star, the causal, things of that nature, they don't really relate to the direct physical human self. So they don't really have those type of things that relate to those centers that can really do anything for them because they're governed in the light body or our fourth dimensional self. All right, so with that being said, we will go ahead and take a break for just a couple of minutes. And then after our break, we will get moving into our stellar gateway Reiki clearing and activation. Feel free to get yourself cozy, hydrate, use the restroom, get your Zen space created up at home, burn some sage, set up your crystals, whatever it may be, and we'll get things flowing. And we'll give you guys an experience to tap in with the stellar gateway chakra. Alrighty. Go ahead and get you guys selves comfortable. You can sit or lay down, or you may even stand if needed. Wow, this frequency is so high. So as you get yourself focused, just begin to do yourself the honor of letting go of comments, letting go of feeling needed to focus on what other people are saying. Just allow yourself these few minutes to surrender and be present with yourself and to truly tap in and receive through your stellar gateway chakra. Check in with your posture. Making sure that we are relaxing our shoulders down to the side. Making sure we're not balling our fists. If we're laying down, having our legs straight and not crossed. Then checking in with the jaw, making sure that we're not clenching our teeth. Now bringing focus to the breath, breathing in through the nose. And as you breathe in, I'd like for you to consciously imagine that you breathe in and then direct this breath all the way up above the head to the stellar gateway. And then breathe out of the mouth. Breathing in through the nose and then directing that breath mentally above the head to the stellar gateway. And then exhaling out of the mouth. Continue to focus on this breath pattern. As you continue to breathe, breathing up to the stellar gateway, you can feel, you can hear, you can sense this golden orange energy interacting with our being. Staying with the breath. This golden orange energy begin to pour and stream down out of the stellar gateway center. And as this golden honey liquidy crystalline energy begins to drip and flow down from the center above the head, and makes its way down to the soul star, into our Akashic field, makes its way down into the causal, our unconscious center, and begins to make its way into the crown and down to the rest of the chakras, feeling this golden orange energy crisp and cool and crystallizing through every facet of our being that it flows through. And as we stay with the breath and continue to breathe, it's allowing this energy to take over our being, filling it with divine purpose, Christ consciousness. Allow this energy of who you are and what we are, why we are here, beyond the labels, the jobs, the judgment, the opinions. We are embodying and welcoming in the truth of what is, that I am, my organic state of being, from the will and intention of the creator of all that is. May this continue to settle into our being, not just in this moment, but in all moments as we continue on. In this moment, you may let go of limitations. You may let go of the identities. You may let go of the labels, the boxes, the compartments that we have placed ourselves and all life in. How much are you willing to let go of that? How much are you willing to embrace being the infinite creation? Are you willing today to embrace more of the God inside of you, the goddess inside of you? Are you willing today to let go of the attachments and limited identities that we may be holding on to so tightly? to feel like we are something, to feel like we are worthy and have value in this world? Are we allowed ourselves to let go of what it is that we are holding so closely onto as a limited identity of who we are? Well, we may let go. We may let go now of needing to hold on to that identity, needing to hold on to the limitations, to open up and embrace with being present in the moment, with energy and vibration, and allowing everything in life to be energy and vibration in the moment. How much are we going to let go of allowing the past to be the identification of the future, allowing our past interactions to be the way that we believe other interactions are going to be? Are we going to continue to allow experiences with that one individual to dictate the way that we think our experiences are going to go forward in our life, all because we went through things with one person? Does not mean it will happen continuously through others. How much are we going to embrace the eternal now moment? Remember, you can always change yourself. You can always change your identity, change who you serve as, what you go by, what it is that you want to do. You are not limited. You are not bound to only living one way and just being a certain spiritual way or a certain spiritual teacher, or to be this specific way of service. You're not bound to it. It's your free will. So just know that. So when you start feeling like you're complaining or feeling like you're being tortured or feel like it's too much to be on this spiritual journey and to be a leader and to teach and to hold space, then opt out. Take a step back and focus on a different lifestyle. It's okay. Just know you don't have to prove yourself or feel like something or fulfill an image when it comes to these communities and spirituality. Be yourself. Be 100% you. Now we shall bring in some Metatron, Stellar Gateway, light language codes to help bring recalibration to our organic blueprint so it may stream and connect with the rest of our system and being. Uania kutu shikia napu nania sutu ataya na tu kipiana ta nusuashi ataya sutu puyin kupaya na shu iana ni kitu anayashi ukupanya na shuru pa shuru miana tu ukuati ana shuti ana kutu Yamata ubaya shinekoti yana yanati yana sutukota yashi anakua nasiki yata shimena sutukoti yata. Staying with the breath. I just want to give you the reminder as we close out. The reminder of honoring your intuition, honor your intuitive nature. Take those steps when you get the pull. Integrate those lessons when you gain the wisdom. Remember the accountability of who you are as a co-creator of all of existence. And a co-creator of all of existence and nothing less. That is who you are. Take the time with yourself. Take your time with yourself, bro. Remember your patterns, repetition, and intention. Remember repatterning over patterns that have been patterned for years, a long time. Sometimes it may take a little bit longer than expected for us to be fully attuned, fully reprogrammed to our desire. Be patient with ourselves, be patient with each other. The effort is to change. So now the golden and orange light from the stellar gateway comes down and begins to form a shield of energy surrounding our aura, giving protection of this golden orange ray. As we continue on our DNA and blueprint system, we'll continue to recalibrate. It will continue to attune into its organic. Just know there could be purging, there could be releasing, there could be shadows that get pulled due to this shifting. It's all part of the process. Remember your tools, remember yourself, nature if needed. Remember your spiritual hygiene. With the breath, you may now begin to navigate consciously to your physical body and make your way to your physical environment. Namaste. Mm. So as we close out, feel free to give your feedback in the comments. And one last reminder is, are we supporting ourselves? Are we doing the things that support our goals or support our higher purpose? Or are we continuing behaviors and things that don't support that higher purpose? Just think about that as you continue on and as things arise. You know, does this really suit me any longer? Does it really suit me any longer to continue to act this way? To continue to hang out with these people? To continue to go into these environments? To continue to allow these type of things into my space? You know, are these things really supporting what I'm trying to do? Or is it time for me to take a step, do some releasing and inviting of new energy? Glad to hear that it was a beautiful and helpful meditation for you, Chantel. Um, all of these lives are saved. You can watch it in better space on YouTube. You can watch it on YouTube anytime. Mm. All right. So yeah, also keep in mind too that, you know, as we go through these processes, kind of like what I was saying earlier, is, you know, patience is so key. To not expect things overnight, and to also remember that it's a process. It's a multidimensional process when we're manifesting and when we're changing. And there's multidimensional layers that have to be experienced and that energy has to move through. So as we remember that, you know, it's not that something isn't happening or something isn't manifesting for us. It's just that it's traveling through the dimensions and it takes time. since we're bringing something into a third dimensional form. In order for it to get to the third dimension of form, it has to move through the higher dimensions from where it came from. And then it goes through those different dimensions and then turns into material form in the third dimension. So, with that being said, again, just remember the patience of the process. And while you're in the patient process, continue to remember your spiritual hygiene. Continue to remember the maintenance on your being as the instrument and the vessel of the manifesting. Remember to have good grounding, have a good, healthy foundation, as in your root chakra, your earth star chakra, for your higher dimensions to be able to integrate, to be able to be expressed, to be experienced properly in your physical human being. So if you ever feel like you're just sitting around, there's nothing to do to help support your purpose or your manifesting, well, just keep in mind that you can do inventory on yourself. And if there are thought patterns, there are other things lingering that could be causing resistance or blockages, then those are some things to look at, put attention to help out with your process. And then last thing is keep in mind of what you're saying and the way you're saying it. Is what you're saying supporting your vision? Is it supporting your infinite abundance? Or is it supporting lack, scarcity, fear, distortions, things of that nature? The way that we're talking about others, the way that we're seeing others, does that support who we're becoming? Does that really embody us being able to have faith and see that faith? Very simple things to keep in mind as we go through life. I know I go through it still. If I was to sit here and say that I don't have judging thoughts or I don't have self sabotaging thoughts and things of that nature, I would be the biggest liar to you. I have them every day. But are we acting on them? Are we feeling them? Or are we continuing to be the conscious guide and the conscious intelligence of our own self? Thank you, Chantal. I appreciate you. Sammy, good to see you. Haven't seen you in a few years. Casey. Mm. All right. So that does it for today on this episode of Rising with Ra, Stellar Gateway Chakra. You guys can watch the replay on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. The YouTube channel is Sacred Light Healing and Wellness, in case if you don't follow yet. Please give a subscribe, give a share, give a like to my content, as this is valuable for all. You know, this is to help us all become empowered individually, and not just for you, but also for your loved ones, your community, and everybody out in the world that's open to it. So please share my content, share my channel, share these spaces that I hold so we can continue to spread these type of downloads, spread these type of enlightenments to people. I mean, you guys see the way that you're affected. So just imagine how others are affected that you share this with. And we can continue to make this a movement where we continue to share these free spaces, share this free knowledge and wisdom, these free tools and practices that we can use in everyday life, including even children and elders. And we'll just continue to amplify our intention here, which is to self empower each other, give each other space to be able to feel connected. That's what's all about here for me. I don't care about the rest. I don't care about the views. I don't care about my image. I don't care if I look like a guru. I don't care if I have knowledge or don't have knowledge. It's just not about me. So, yeah, appreciate all of you guys that continue to support, continue to subscribe, to share, and please keep doing it. This is what it's all about. For anybody out there that thinks I do this at all for me and just for me, you definitely have it sadly wrong. I am here to be of service, and I've devoted my life to that. And I don't put anything short but my all and my heart into everything that I do for you guys. It's a sacrifice. I have a peaceful life. I have a beautiful life, and I can just go live it. But I chose to be here. I chose to do these lives weekly. I chose to continue to do this for 2 years straight now in many different ways consistently for us, opportunities for us. And we're going to continue. And we're going to continue to create even more beautiful spaces and have even more brothers and sisters join in because that's what it's all about. We're all here together. So tap in and rise together with Rising with Ra. I'm Marcus Christolight, Pharaoh of the Space, founder of Sacred Light Healing and Wellness. You guys can find me this Wednesday live for Ascending Beyond Limitation, Raw Material Law of One book study with Sandra Marshall at 1 p.m. Eastern Wednesday, live on all platforms. And I'll be back Friday for the next Rising with Ra, the Higher Heart Chakra, 11:11 a.m. Eastern. You guys have questions, reach out. If you'd like to book a one-on-one service so you can do some deep healing, go into your layers with myself as a shamanic guide, just reach out. Love you guys. Wholeness and balanced love.